Rippers everywhere, so let's all have a drink. Hello, everybody. Greg the Bug Burke here, and I'm doing Rippers today. Ripper Swarms. Now, I have to be honest, when I was first getting into Warhammer, I had really struggled on which army to pick, because I wasn't good at painting, and I wasn't good at... I just was really good at painting. I wanted to pick an easy army, and Space Marines looked really hard to paint, even though now I know they were really easy. But as I was looking for my army, what army to get, I stumbled upon the Tyranid army, and they looked kind of cool. The Carnifexes were kind of interesting, and then I saw these like little teeny tiny guys, and they were Ripper Swarms. And the second I saw them, I was like, oh dude, I have to play these. These look amazing. They just were really cool looking. I liked how tiny they were, and like they seemed really menacing, kind of like they would like eat anything in their path, and it was all good. And they were really good, and I started like, and they were good in 4th edition. Then the 5th edition came out, and they're still okay. They've definitely taken a beating, but I do want to go over the unit with you and try to explain tactics that I use with them sometimes, and for fun. All right, so first off, when I say this, Ripper Swarms aren't super competitive in list, like. They're not. They're okay. They're not super bad. They're not super good. They're okay. I wouldn't say they're a useless unit like in my other podcasts. They definitely serve a purpose and have synergies, which is great. I'm gonna read you their stats for a time. We're just gonna do normal Ripper Swarms for now. So weapon skill 2. That seems really low, but if you guys remember, basically having a high weapon skill just makes it easier to hit something and not be hit usually. So like for example, a 2 on a 4 is a 4 better to hit. So they're not super bad. So it's usually 4 up to hit anything that's a 4 or lower. So it's an average to hit. BS ballistic skills 2. I never give them shooting weapons. So I don't know why they would have a ballistic skill, but whatever. Strength 3, which is okay. They're swarms, understandable. Toughness 3. They're swarms, again, understandable, normal. They have 3 wounds. So that's what I like, because they are actually 10 points per base. So you're getting 3 wounds for 10 points. That's really good, actually. Like when you think of it, that's really good. That's where they shine, is in their wounds. Initiative 2, they're slow, they're swarms. You can expect that. Attacks 4, that's a lot of attacks. That's 5 attacks on a charge. That's a lot of attacks. Saving throw 6 up. I'll just tell you now, you're not gonna get a save right now for them, usually. Usually not getting a save. I'm going to tell you what I use them for. I use them for scare tactics. They're really mean if you give them toxin sacks and make them poison, because then they're wounded on 4 up and they can take something like a Wrath Throw down. People get very nervous and try to shoot them before they get in close combat, which is great for you. Because if they shoot at the swarms, they're not shooting at your monstrous creatures, they're not shooting at your gaunts, they're not shooting at your gene stealers. And that's good. Because they're fearless, so they're not going to retreat. They can run away. As long as they're in synapse range, they're fearless. There is a horrible downfall for them, though, and that's their mindless ability. It says, if a Ripper Swarm is more than 12 inches from a synapse creature at the beginning of the turn, you have to make a leadership test. For each number you fail over your leadership, you take a wound. You don't get any saves. So the lesson here is you just got to keep them in synapse, which is really hard to do sometimes, especially when they charge out of range, or they gun for your synapse and they get it out early. They become really difficult to control, and also they have a leadership 5. So on 2d6, that's not too bad. That's pretty bad. So I'm gonna roll 2d6 now and make a leadership test. All right, so I rolled 11. That was really lucky. But I rolled 11, so I just lost 2 bases. So it's not horrible, but it definitely makes them less powerful than they used to be. One of the things I like to do with them is, you guys are going to call me on my hypocrisy, but if you take the old One Eye, this is something you can do. He has an ability that lets you use his leadership for leadership test. And his leadership is 8. So if they're out of synapse range and you have no choice, you can use the alpha male, the old One Eye's leadership. Also, the parasite of Mordax. He is a great person to take with Ripper Swarms, because he can actually has a synapse range of 24 inches for swarms. so they can go really far out there. You don't have to worry about failing leadership tests or anything like that. Alright, now I'll tell you how I use them. I keep them in front. I try to scare people. Like I said, if I have the points, I really like to give them toxic sacks. I really do. I'm not gonna lie. It makes them very expensive. Makes them 14 points apiece, but having them wound on 4-ups, it's very nice. You know what I mean? That's just a very nice thing to have. Because now they're a threat to everything on the table, not just like infantry. And it scares people, and people actually waste shots at them. I kid you not. They will literally waste shots on these little things, and it's good for me. It's good for you. So basically, I put them in front, and then I charge stuff. I'll charge anything from Marines to Terminators to whatever I want to be tied up. You do have to be careful though, because Power Fist and anything Strength 6 or higher will insta-kill a base. And you don't want them to be insta-killed, because that's where their points come in. Their points come in because they have 3 wounds. Like, that's where their core value is, because they can tie stuff up. Even with Fearless dragging you down and all that stuff, you still have 3 wounds, and that's amazing. They can tie up. I've tied up units for 3 rounds with these guys. With a squad of 10, which is 100 points. If I gave them toxic stats, that'd be more. But I've tied up a whole unit for 3 turns. I haven't tied up Terminators because they kill them way too fast. But I tie up basic infantry units. I can tie down. Oh, walkers are the best. Walkers are the best to tie down with, because they're gonna get like 2 attacks, and even though they're gonna kill a base in each attack, probably because they have like a really tough weapon, unless some walkers I know don't have like strength 8 or strength 6 weapons. Some of them have strength 5 or strength 4 weapons. I think there's an Eldar one that's like a strength 5 weapon. So they're really good at tying up big mechs, because they're going to get 2 attacks. And if they don't have a power weapon, then they're going to tie them up for a long time. Like say for example, like a Dreadnought. I think if you get rid of a Dreadnought close combat weapon, they lose their power weapon, but I think they still have a high strength. Yeah, well, I digress. Anyway, they're a fun unit to play. I love the way they look. Like I said, they're very threatening on the board, because there's so many of them, and people know they're a nuisance, and they will waste blast shots, and they will waste fire firing at them, and that's what they are. They're made to be a massive distraction and to pin down a unit. They're not necessarily meant to kill anything, even though I love killing stuff with them, but they definitely do their job in tying up and threatening the opponent. It's literally a fear factor. Having a lot of stuff on the board is threatening to the opponent. The opponent has no idea what to attack. The opponent has no idea what to go for. The opponent, it's just, they're a lot of fun to play. I mean, to be honest, they're just really fun. You can give them wings and become fast attacks. I wouldn't. I would rather give them toxin. If you really want them to be 15 points per base, I would give them toxin sacks, just because having the wound on a 4 is much better, and they're still pretty quick. You can also give them deep strike. I would never deep strike these because of their fearless rule, them making a leadership and failing it. It's just a little risky, and if you have a squad of 10 and you're deep striking them too, if they run into a unit they can mishap. That's always bad. You never want to mishap. But in terms of short, they're a great unit to tie up and intimidate your opponent, and that's what they're used for. So anyway, guys, that was River Swarms. I hope you enjoyed it. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and if you have requests, please send me a message. Don't be shy. Any questions you need or any tips you need, I'd be happy to answer them.